Myself, Gualter Amarelo, and the great Vinney Smile Chopra. Welcome back, Vinny.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure, such a pleasure. And to be back after a long vacation. Hey, are we recording also? I just
We
wanted
are
to make
recording.
sure
So, Vinny,
we
your
are.
vacation was in Spain.
I know. Oh my gosh, Spain is so beautiful. My wife and I went there about 7 years back, but this time the whole family, Neil and Monica, went, and that was amazing to go to six different cities. We flew into Barcelona all the way down to Malaga and all this Alhambra and all, and Madrid and all the way south of Spain, all the way to Madrid and come back, and that was the beautiful thing about it is to spend time with the family,
Right.
the lunches, the dinners, and the travels. So
So,
it's
Vinny, did
all,
you learn Spanish while you were over in Spain?
no, see, Paquito, I mean, it's just not really. I need to learn because it's so great. Spanish is now prevalent all over, all over. I mean, in USA and abroad also.
I still practice no habla español.
Oh my gosh.
It is
Now,
my
I'm
greatest
Canadian,
sentence.
by
I
the
don't
way.
understand Spanish. I'd say that no habla español, and I say gracias.
Is that right? No, I'm
No, la syndication
Canadian.
de apartamentos.
I know my book, we got it converted now into the Spanish, and we are really trying to get it all published. And it's published already on Amazon and all that, but I'm really promoting it. My team is promoting it, and a lot of good reviews are coming in Spanish also version.
It sounds
Yeah.
like we're gonna have to get a Spanish Vinny to do the AI, a Spanish AI Vinny that goes out and does the audio version and
It's amazing. I'm totally flabbergasted now. On Amazon, you can have your book through AI recite the whole book free, totally free. It's a great hack, guys. Everybody listening to us, if you have published a book on the Amazon, it gives you free service, and you could choose the language and choose the voice of girl or man, mature man. All those they give you different choices to fit your profile, and then people can listen to your book.
oh, that's amazing.
Amazing.
That's amazing. So Vinny, we're here for Wealth Principle 32. The point is not to work, it's to generate income. I'm wearing the shirt. You sent me notes. One of the
Yes.
first notes, we're gonna dive through these, is don't trade time for dollars. Your W-2 is a stepping stone, not the end game. Why is that something you have to say? Is it because
You
so
know,
many people forget that there's something else after the W-2?
I know. I'm telling you, 10,000 people are turning 65 every night. We have talked about it. That means that possibly they are retiring or semi-retiring and leaving their job and all that stuff. I always have promoted, and you and I know, side hustle. That's how I did it. I retired from W-2 job 2015. But my side hustle started 40 years back in real estate with single family homes. And then 20 years back, almost 20, because, oh no, 10 years back was when I retired. But 20 years back, I started the side hustle of buying apartments. So it's really good to get into some kind of business on a part-time basis because we have so much time. We really do have so much time in our life, and we could put that time for good use.
I like it. So use your funds, use it to fund your assets, not just pay bills. That was the note you put in there with don't trade time for dollars forever. I didn't read the last part. So trade, you can do it. It's a stepping stone, but don't do it forever. The
Yeah.
next part you put in was build streams, not stress. So we're supposed to use our W-2 to fund the acquisition of assets, I assume is what you're going.
The thing is, a lot of students, they come to my academy, they say, Vinny, I want to do this. Their goals are
They've all got
so
a bunch of ideas. They've all got goals. Everybody's got
goals
goals.
ideas, and they want to start, they want to have $1 million real estate asset tomorrow. I mean, and not really even finding where to buy or anything, and they think it's going to be overnight success, and that's totally wrong, totally wrong. because it's not going to happen that way. The biggest thing is where you are right now, how much savings you got, what's your, I mean, background, of course. You could hook up with some partners who have track record. That's no problem. And a lot of time people teach, you could start with zero money, which is true. But the thing is, you got to build the business from scratch to be known, and then asking your family, friends to, invest with you. So having a W-2 job and saving, I would say saving is the big step first. And
I
put
like
that,
it because the point of it is is income, passive income. I think the number I hear all the time is $10,000 a month passive income. I've interviewed
yep,
so many people that said, "Hey, how much do you want? How much do you want?" And it's almost always $10,000 a month passive income. That's almost always the number.
yep.
And when it comes to building streams, not stress, I think a lot of people do build businesses. They listen to the side hustle concept, but they don't get it right, right? They're not side hustling into assets, they're side hustling into jobs, which is kind of the opposite of what Robert Kiyosaki talked about when he wrote the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So number three that you've got here is buy assets, not liabilities. So you want to build streams, not stress, which means you got to acquire assets, not liabilities. Fancy cars drain your
It's
wallet.
so
Apartments and
true.
assisted living pay you every month.
I know, I know. I mean, it's just so, see, a lot of time people do it backward, I say. They feel like, okay, I want to be very successful, but then they leave it there, or they have those dreams, they don't put timelines and things like that. But the biggest thing is to really look at your situation. You got to take accountability of your net worth, where you are, how was the last year for you in W-2, or 5 years even, or last 6 months. Are you hating the job or liking the job? And what's your interest level? You don't want more stress, just like you said.
Yeah.
You got to look at any business, it's a franchise or investing as limited partner, or you want to be active in real estate, but you got to have the profile for it. You do not want stress. You don't want to get into something where you cannot sleep at night. That is going to be very detrimental for your health and for well-being and everything.
I want to run
So,
this by Vinny because I talked to a guy this week who high income earner, earning almost a quarter million a year, and they go to lunch every day. They go to dinner every day. They take their wife out for vacations every 3 months. They're living like Vinney Chopra. They are living like you. They're spending like you. But I was like looking at their balance sheet and they had no assets. And this dude was in his 50s. And I said, "Well, when can you retire?" And he said, "Well, that's why I'm on the phone with you. I'm trying to figure this out." And
yeah.
I had to tell him a different story because there was another person who was earning $180,000 a year, like 187, 180,000 a year, and
Mhm.
they lived on a $50,000 budget, and they were saving almost 100,000 a
Oh,
year, and they were
oh,
taking that and buying investments. They were investing in syndications, and they were investing in two families, and
yes.
both assets were going up in value and paying monthly. And I told this guy, I was like, "Look, in 5 years, you've made more than this gentleman, but this gentleman now passively earns $10,000 a month and his net worth's over $1 million. Your net worth's almost, his net worth was in his car, in his car and his house. He had a house that was almost $400,000 equity. So he had something, but doesn't count towards accreditation. And
No.
this other gentleman also has the house, also has the nice car, but he has the net worth and he has that $10,000 passive income coming in from the investments. He's spending less money on investing, but he's making less money, but I'm sorry, he's spending less money on toys in the beginning, but he's taking all of his money rolling it into investments. So
Ah,
that's kind of tying in those last two principles that you talked about: build streams, not stress; buy assets, not liabilities. I saw it with two different gentlemen, Vinny, the same age, different
you
industries, but
wow.
similar enough incomes, but they just chose different lifestyles for 5 years.
The nail on the head, really nail on the head. I always learned from my mentors, hey, you have to always live your life tightening your belt, we call it, right? If you can live at 100,000 a year income, try to live at 75, because find ways so that you could buckle up and take out some of the frivolous things, like you just said, eating outside it's not that healthy either, by the way. I mean, all the preservatives and everything and all
I,
that
I
we
I hope he doesn't listen to this call, but
do, I hope not.
I could tell by the way he was looking, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't working out for him.
I know. But you have to shake up. You got to really look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm making so much money, but I'm not saving. I'm just spending, spending, spending. My net worth. I will like to challenge everybody watching us to look at on a piece of paper. If you don't have an Excel worksheet, you could get it from Brother Gualter or me. We got great net worth statement sheets, and the calculators. Actually, I just designed a calculator, underwriting, simple one page. It's got the sheet in it, the
For your
net worth.
PFS, like a personal financial statement, just net worth
Exactly.
tracker, just yeah,
Simple, simple. The key thing is you got to take care of life at this moment to see where you have been and where you want to go. So essentially, it all boils down to your net worth is what is going to dictate how you're going to live your life when you retire or you will pay for, kids' education and everything. So you got to tighten your belt to make the savings and then put the savings to work for you. Velocity of money. We talk about that. You got to invest it in place where you could make 8, 9, 10% cash flow plus the upside. And you don't have to do all the paperwork. I mean, heavy lifting,
all
I
the heavy
call it.
lifting, the hammers. You just got to do
Like you and
paperwork,
I, we
right?
are fund managers.
Yeah,
We find the deals which are really vetted, underwritten. And I mean, you're just spending so much energy in Mississippi, in Cleveland,
yeah.
and hard work, very strong hard work,
You were
which you're
just in Dallas. I know you're
finding.
underwriting on that deal.
I know. I'm really excited for the Dallas, flourishing now, for our side over there. And it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference because you got to have a plan.
Yeah,
If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail or you fail to plan, just like the word says, you got to not fail to plan your life.
yeah. So there's a saying, people plan their vacation. They spend all week, all month planning their vacation, spend 3 months planning a vacation, but they won't
Yes.
take the 3 days to sit down and plan their life out. So
Yes.
this next one, number four, use your job to buy freedom. So work hard, but only long enough to buy your time back. Reinvest bonuses, raises, savings into income generating opportunities, kind of what you just talked about. With these gentlemen, it reminds me of something you said to me 3 years ago. You said, Walter, it's a lot easier to build millionaires when they already have $800,000 sitting there. It's a lot easier to make somebody financially free when they already have $800,000 sitting there. The person who doesn't have $80,000 or doesn't, they only have 100,000, that's a much harder, longer time frame. And you told me, you said if you want to build 100 millionaires in a year, they need to be
Yes.
much closer
Yeah.
than what you're starting with, right? Some of these people are 5 years away, 7 years away because they don't have the first 100,000. A person
Right.
who's already at 800,000, already at $1 million, already at $2 million. That financial freedom button's easy to flick. But
Yes.
if they don't have that net worth, if they haven't taken the time to discipline themselves to acquire assets that work without them while they're working their main job, they'll never get there. Like the whole point of your job is to buy freedom. That's what that money is designed to do.
See, that's so true, and the statistics are very alarming. In USA, the disparity of wealth is so high now. The I think 0.5% of the people in America own 90% of the wealth or something, and
Yeah.
then the lower is making their ends meet. But the emergency fund, I read some statistic like $5,000 people don't have it in the saving at the lower end or
Yeah.
even 1000. Somebody said if they have an emergency for 1000, it's going to put their family in jeopardy. That's right. So
I've
it's
done a
very.
lot of these calls with young people, and I sit down and we evaluate what they've got in their bank account. And I do this little thing where I say, hey, what's the most you ever had? What's the least you ever had? And what's the lowest you've had in the last 3 years? You would
Yeah.
not believe how many people say $500 in their bank account, $500 in the bank, $1,000 in their bank account, $3,000 in their
Oh,
bank account. And it's like, wow, like you're looking to buy real estate, but you don't have two nickels to rub together. You
no.
you got to start a little earlier with saving money, like building the capacity to earn. If you're not earning $100,000 a year, it's a work ethic issue. It's not the economy, it's not the job, it's a
No,
work ethic issue.
we blame everything outside world.
Right.
That's how personality, that's how human life is. Not everybody, but majority of the time we are looking for answers outside,
Average
but
income in the
the
country
answers
is
are within
55 to
ourselves.
75,000, right? So we do the
Yeah,
math, Vinny. If average income is 55 to 75,000, then above average is earning six figures. Just it's not a lot above average because there's people earning 400,000, there's people earning
yeah,
500,000. It's just
yeah.
slightly above average is six figures now. So a person not earning like six figures is basically average or below average, which is
Now
not a good
see,
place to be.
I would say I'd like to really contest that we should look at not the average, but the median income. So, in other words, the average might be 65 because the high end people
Are so
make the
high.
average go north much higher. But the
Yeah.
median income is as many people above the number and same number below the number. That's the median income. So that is way lower. Can you find out from ChatGPT?
$39,982 is the median
Look
income
at
as of
that.
2023. Wow.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So, in other words,
That's the
half.
individual level. Household is 78,000, but at the individual level, it is 39,982. So just 40,000 is the individual, and then household is about 80,000. Because most
80,000.
households have two people working, and
Yes, exactly. Yep, yep.
that's crazy, Vinny.
It's,
It's crazy to think that that many people are average. And if somebody's listening to this right now saying, "Wow, like I earn way more than that," that
yeah,
makes you above average. You're doing
yeah,
better than the average.
totally. Kudos to you.
Right.
You know, and the thing is, it all starts from, right from the beginning, just like you said, I mean, I always promote that the 14-year age is the most respectable age so that you could get into side hustle of saving money and joint accounts and learning the importance of the perseverance and rejection, and then doing some business, a side hustle with the parents, so that you could start building your thinking about as an entrepreneur. You got to be thinking at a young age. Then by 22 or 21, you'll have a duplex or fourplex. Then you are house hacking, we call it, right? Living in one portion. If you are parents, I mean, parents like to leave, the kids leave in America at 18,
Right.
possibly, right? Most of the time.
Right.
But then you could house hack and get the thing started. Yeah.
It's funny because I'm looking at the next one as you were speaking. Because yes, I left the house at 18, but also number five, it says leverage OPM, and something you and I have talked about a lot, even on this podcast, is
Oh,
OPT. It's other
oh,
people's time, which is the asset that as you get more and more money, it's not like you need
yes.
other people's money, it's actually you need other people's time. And that's where underwriters and operators and deal doers, deal
Yes.
manufacturers like yourself who are packaging deals, that other people's time. Because I hear this the mantra all the time in the real estate world. Oh, OPM, OPM, OPM. It's like, yeah, the OPM, but then eventually it has to become OPT. You have to
Oh,
take your
see.
money and trust it to somebody else to do that while you can enjoy your time, right? So, because we're limited on time unless we use other people's time and
Oh
leverage
my
other
God.
people's skills. OPS.
This is so important what you're saying. OPM, again, everybody, it's other people's money, and OPT is other people's time. Now, other people's time is what really makes us very great. You have more arms working for you because the international assistants, I call it, and the beauty is to get the right people who can help you grow your brand, grow your outreach, get your lists going, take care of your emails, take care of arrangements, take care of whatever. And I have four international assistants who are just helping me now. Four of them. And it's just making it such a big difference because I buy time with their help. That time I can spend in talking to investors and to the brokers or looking at deals and underwriting deals, because I don't like to give away that underwriting skills or work to somebody else, because I'm buying $40 million deals, $30 million, $20 million deals. I
I
need
know.
to
I'm
be
looking
to
at the one you're doing right now. That's a $23 million deal. You're getting it way less than that, but it's a $23
wow.
million deal when you're done with it.
Yes, yes. I mean, we got to spend time where it gets the maximum mileage. 80-20 rule. The 20% of the time today, if I can spend in the right activities, then I'm going to get 80% of the result. And that's the dilemma. Many times we spend 80% of the time doing 20% of the results activities.
Yeah.
So that is OPT. But OPM is the other technique which everybody, I don't know if everybody can, but the thing is, there is a fund of fund structure. There is where you don't have to buy the deal, but you could help raise the money in your circle, in your cloud. That's where I'm really reaching out to a lot of people with accredited investors. They got good group of people and they said, Vinny, come on in and bring a great deal. We'll all jump on it now, with you. So
I
that's a great way. It's a
I
win-win
just
situation.
got off the phone 15 minutes ago, right before our call. I jumped off with a gentleman who 5 years ago was earning about 80,000 a year through his handyman business. He made
Okay.
a shift, a singular shift. He started buying rental properties and then servicing landlords.
Mhm.
And he shifted over the last 4 years. His income this past year was $500,000. He
Wow.
shifted, he made one change. He said, I'm going to service multifamilies. I'm going to service the operators. And he told me, he said, the big difference has been other people's time. Because I said,
Yeah.
how are you scaling? What is it you're doing? And he said, I hired these three guys over there. I hired these three guys over there. He's in four different markets. He's hired teams that are operating for him. And it's just great coaching. He said, better living is he and I built this business together 5 years ago. And the cost behind the business was a better quality home. That
Yeah.
was that's the brand, right? It's just a better quality home. And he said it's OPT. Understanding other people's time allows him to do significantly more. And leveraging it, he said, like I can fix it all myself. I can invest all myself. It's just a lot faster for me to have other people do it because you can scale that. It's scalable.
Totally, totally. And you know what? You are giving livelihood to all the people who are your partners. See, that's what we forget many times. We want to do a solo game, solo game, solo game, solo game, and want to grab, and greed comes in. I want to make all the profits. I want to make all the equity gains. I want to do all the cash flow for me. But guess what? That limits us. If we are getting other people's money, in our cases, both of our fund managers, is getting the busy professionals, very rich people, wealthy people, accredited investors to invest with us in a very vetted deal. They are making good money, but with their help, we are giving jobs to contractors, to brokers, to all these peoples. We are borrowing money from the bank, and the bank is then using the leverage, right, is the word. All those things, their economy is blossoming because of the small things we are doing. But it's a team effort. It's a team
It's
effort.
funny because you put it all together. You're holding up your hand like this, and I saw it for the first time. Something you said to me a lot of times. You make more money with bigger deals. You make more money with bigger deals because you can afford a better staff. You can afford to do the renovations. And that $1 million from this guy doesn't go very far. But you get five guys with $1 million, five other guys with $1 million. Now you can do the bigger deals, and it
Yes,
creates a much higher alpha, much higher return on investment for the investors because that investor is no longer just investing with $1 million. They're investing with a team that's bringing in $10 million, which brings a much better return on investment because you're getting deals that nobody else can get because you're able to bring in capital to a deal that nobody else can get. So there's a leverage to OPM, allowing and partnering with other people, putting your money together, that actually produces a much higher alpha. That secret.
much, much higher. See, that's the thing, to find the good diamonds in the rough, I call it, right? You
You
have to
need to bring
underwrite
able to bring bigger capital. Yeah.
100 deals. You have to go through with your network with banks and auctions and everywhere. Find one nugget, one good one, which we found right now. And we are going through it. We'll be kind of discussing this in
I'm looking
next.
forward to the boots on the ground, Vinny. I'm looking forward to
It's
my
going to
flight to
be so
Dallas.
exciting. It's going to be so exciting. But the key thing is that we are able to work for our limited partners because 80% and 20% in certain places. We give 80% of our results or the equity and the cash flow goes to investors and 20% for you and I, or 70-30 split or 60-40. But we want to give our investors first dibs into it. After we reach the IRR, then we go into split differently. We could do 80-20 early on or 100 to 0, right? We
You're
could
talking
put that
prefs and waterfalls. And if somebody
exactly.
wants to learn about this, I know you're doing a webinar today. It's
Yes.
at 1 o'clock PST, 4 o'clock. Sorry, 1 o'clock
No,
EST,
4
4
o'clock
o'clock
PST.
PST.
Uh-huh.
That is I wrote it down, benefits of investing in senior living and hotels and
Hotels.
the
Hotels.
hospitality space.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
somebody wants that link, go to vinnychopra.com/events, or you just go to Eventbrite, type in Vinney Chopra. But
Yes.
vinnychopra.com/events is the easiest way to get to all of his webinars. He does one per week, and they happen to be right after this show. So Abundance Thursdays, then Vinney Chopra's webinar. It's super convenient. So Vinny, number 6 is get the right mentors who walk the path.
Oh
Reading
my
books
God.
is great, but mentorship collapses time. What does
Oh
that
my
mean?
I wouldn't be here sitting where I'm sitting in my studio and everything. I wouldn't be where I'm sitting with my net worth and everything. I wouldn't be here if I had not seek the help of great mentors. That I'm telling you the truth. A lot of people say, I don't have money to pay the mentors or coaching and all the masterminds. I will say that you can't afford not to really have. I started by borrowing money, by the way. We had money, but my family didn't want me to spend more money to lose or like that. So I started my business with $1,000, literally. $1,000 I started 20 years back, and then I started new company in 2014 with $1,000 Monil Investment Group. So I have only spent $2,000 in my career to build this, 1.3 billion or whatever, portfolios
I
and
spent a
everything.
lot more than that, Vinny. I feel like I learn from you all the time. I'm always learning. I spent way too much money on my first courses. I think I'm at 300,000 I've spent that.
No,
Um,
I did too. No, I was going to say that I did put 30,000 given to the coach, but I borrowed it.
you borrowed
I
it.
bought it. So I didn't, I mean, my family didn't want me to spend our money. So I was able to have a good Samaritan who wanted to work with me and join us. And we were able to borrow in my previous company 150,000 actually. And we took our team for coaching, spent
And you went
100
straight to the top. You went to the grandfather of
to
syndications,
the
Dave
top,
Lindahl, like
very
back.
best.
Yeah.
Very best, David Lindahl. I want to give him kudos because I'm here today because of him. Literally, I really give him, and he's a great friend of mine. And I'm one of his brighter students or whatever. A lot of people have
It's
done
very
very
humble of you, Vinny. I always talk about Dave as the guy who wrote the book Emerging Markets, which I talk about
yes.
all the time inside of our mastermind. It's such a phenomenal book for figuring this thing out.
And
So we got,
multifamily engineer, I think, is the other one. I bought two
yes,
books 25 years back, I think, or something. And I was just yellowing every line. It just was hitting me because I had single family homes all over USA, not making much cash flow and a lot of headaches and everything. I said, oh, there has to be a better solution, brother. There has to be a better solution. You're right, generate income. And that's when I got into when people said, Vinny, would you give up 20 homes and get an apartment with 20 units? Does that make sense to you? That way, one transaction and you get a loan from the commercial, 20 over 5 units is commercial, less than 5 unit is residential. So you could get a fourplex with a residential loan, by the way, and it's very easy to get and everything. But the key thing is economies of scale and all those and collecting rents and having the one maintenance person taking care of 20 different units. So that's how I got started. And thanks to David Lindahl for really showing the light. And he's doing very well. I'm so glad after 25 years also and so forth. Yeah.
so you got your last note. So number 6 was get mentors who walk the path. Number 7 is your income shouldn't depend on a boss. One stream equals 1 point of failure, multiple streams, multiple dependable cash flows, so your lifestyle isn't tied to a paycheck. If something happens, so I talk about a lot the idea of lending. I have my lending arm with the debt
Mhm.
fund. I have my assets that I own and operate and manage, and then I
Yeah.
have this appreciating side that is properties out in Massachusetts that just seem to go up in value. And it's like this barbell of appreciation on this side, my lending
Yeah.
business in the middle, and then I have the operations that I actually manage and operate. So there's a little bit of appreciation forced mostly, and then there's
Mhm.
cash flow here. For people who are just working a job, which one should they start first? Which of those components to passive investing? Let's say the middle bar is either lending or syndications. The
Yeah.
outside is operations of like it's just appreciating assets like your home or a really fancy place in California, vacation home rentals, Airbnbs. And then this side is, like you said, multifamilies or duplexes or like operations. Where would a person start if they're just getting started?
Again, I want to qualify and say that I'm not a CPA and I'm not an attorney. Please do talk to and not a financial advisor either, even though I'm looking into Series 65
I'm
license.
pretty sure at some point you had your insurance license, so you're getting
I
closer
did.
to.
I did. I had an insurance license in California. I could write annuities and insurance and all that. I gave up that because I just want to learn the behind the scene, what's happening in all these fields. I'm very curious mind and I just understand faster and so forth. At 72, I'm so fired up for the next 10 years to learn new skills so that I can really enjoy. Oh, by the way, with the new skills, we are opening a new business, Monil Media AI. Actually, this is a huge, huge new business where we'll be taking our clients, our businesses, entrepreneurs to the next level in their growth of businesses. And
Wow.
it's coming out, it's already built and everything. It's gonna be marvelous, marvelous. We already getting clients into that one. But the thing is, you said diversification is so important. It is. What I find is that the more money as we made, I diversified into biotech, into metaverse, into startups, into other things. And of course, real estate is our main cup of tea. And that also from multifamily to storage units, into car washes. I've invested in LPs and into mobile home parks, into marinas, all that, right? And then hotels. We built and really good and senior livings. So I know sometimes people say, Vinny, you're into so many things, whatever, whatever, right?
Seems like
I
it,
said,
Vinny. It seems like a
but
lot of things. 30 businesses.
look,
It seems like a lot.
I
You're like
partnered.
the Indian version of Richard Branson. You're the brown Richard Branson.
I don't know if I'll go that high, but the key thing is you have the capability to find the best operators. You have the capability to find and asking the right questions. You find the great, not only the horses and the right jockeys who are on the horses. So that's where you invest and then let your money grow. That's how it is. You build wealth by and not having one stream of income, W-2 income, but side things. And people ask me, Vinny, wow, how did you get to 7,500 units, right? It starts with only one duplex. I just sold that last year, right?
Right.
Duplex, sold it after 17, 18 years. But then I bought 14 units, then 30 units, then 100 units, then 500 units, then this and that. So it all starts from starting small. Everything starts small. Then, after you have the knowledge, you feel comfortable, then your horizon opens up and but you got to have a good mentor and a coach. I remember when we bought 14 units, we met with the coach and we said, we don't know what to do. And they took us, through the real thing because they had done it before.
You want somebody who's done it before. The private consulting firm that I hired out here in Cleveland, they have 370 units themselves or 360 themselves.
Yes.
And I'm their only client. They took me on because it was about the same size. They make about a quarter million a year from me. So they said, "Look, you're the only person we'll work with, but this is what we see the potential of the portfolio because we're ahead of you. We've already done it. We know what stabilization looks like. We know what loan you need to be in. We know what insurance you need to be in. And that was a no-brainer for me, Vinny. It was like, yes, this is a person who's been ahead of me. Not only they're
Kudos.
going to coach me, they're actually going to go run my company for me. So that all my staff is now managed by these two people in the private consulting firm. That
Beautiful.
that statement they said like we've been there before, we've been there before, we've been there before. Every time they say it, it gives me confidence that hey, you know what? I see what you want to do. Here's what that's going to look like because we've been there before. That's why mentors more than coaches are valuable to me. I value the mentor over the coach because the coach is just guessing. What do you think you need to do? What do you think you need to do? What do you think's holding you back?
Yeah.
The mentor says, "Look, this is what that looks like. Are you ready for this?
You
Are
got a
you sure you want this?"
bigger horizon, a point in place. Somebody called me, my very good friend. He says, Vinny, there is a deal, 250 units, whatever, and the bank repossessing it, and the seller is my friend, and he wants me to buy it at $18 million. The loan is 21 million or whatever. I was able to, within 30 minutes or 20 minutes, pinpoint so many things, flaws in the deal that I found out later on the bank is trying to sell at 14 million now. What? Here, Vinny gave advice within 20 minutes with all the holes in the wall and everything because I've done it right from the ground up. So my experience spoke like this. And I said, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to offend you, but let me tell you, this is where I've been. And I know it's going to cost, boiler is going to cost this, and roof, and this, and appliances are old, 55 years age, and 60 years of age, and all that stuff.
You reverse underwrote
After
the
20
deal.
minutes, $4 million price drop.
You reverse underwrote it right there for the seller. They were able to take that to because you know the underwriting, the bank's going to go through. So you reverse underwrote it, said, here's what's actually, this thing's actually going to sell at because of this, this, this. Go back to the bank and have that conversation with them. Like that's because you've been there. You've done over 40 of these, over 40
42,
acquisitions.
42 of them.
42. But who's counting, Vinny, right? It's just
Yeah.
42, $1.6 billion. It's just numbers at this point, right? But it takes time to get to that level. It takes
It
doing the
does.
deals to identify what the property problems are going to be and the
Totally.
fundamental challenges that are
Totally.
going to be inherent within it.
So true, so true. And the beauty is I have 100% record. I tell that and I boast about it from the underwriting stage. Once I like first I find one out of 100, right? But once I find that one out of 50 or 100, I go all the way. Once I put the LOI, I already bought it.
Because
I
you
have
you've
bought
you've reverse underwritten it before you give the LOI. You've already reverse
totally,
underwritten it. You know what it's
totally.
going to look like. You close
Sure.
because you know you can close.
And the loan already pre-approved before
Yeah.
even the LOI.
Oh
See,
yeah.
those are my small hacks that have really made me successful, a little bit successful. The key thing is I have closed 100% of my acquisitions from LOI stage to final stage of closing.
I got to work on that. That's I might be 50%. I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. And then I have in the past, I'm going to change this. I'm going to follow your model because I have in the past just I kind of finish the underwriting after I get an accepted offer and then I have to renege, which doesn't look good for reputation. So I'm learning, Vinny.
That's icing on the cake, I call it, or cherry on the cake. You got to make it so conservative assumptions and also the capex fudge it, because time and money, it's going to be more money involved, right? I mean, I was teaching my friend Pramod, and we looked at $1 million rehab budget. He was able to accomplish in 360,000. What? But it was great. And he was able to buy that property for, I think, 3 or 4, I forget now, over there in Chicago area, right? And he's able to flip it in 1 year. It's worth from 3 million, I think, to almost 4.5 million in one
Oh
year.
yeah.
In
Oh
one,
yeah.
the beauty is you got to have the best underwriting skills. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's revenues, consumptions. I mean, the assumptions, that you don't really make it so attractive that the investors say you're full of. you know, air.
I just realized how long we've gone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is normally a 25-minute, 30-minute podcast.
Yeah,
This is a
good.
topic that clearly is passionate, Vinny's passionate about. He does have his webinar starting in 8 minutes. So go to vinnychopra.com/events and check out the podcast or the webinar he's going to be doing about the benefits of senior living housing and investing in not assisted living, it's assisted livings and hotels. So
So tough.
that is an opportunity every week at Thursday, 12
Yes.
p.m. EST, 9 p.m. PST. You get this Abundance Thursdays. When you see us go live, just think 1 hour from now, Vinny will be doing a webinar. So you can go to vinnychopra.com/events. Check it out. Also, one thing that I want to ask each of you who's listening, give us a like on this post wherever you're seeing it right now. Give us a like and then type in the comments. Thank
Yep.
you, Vinny. Thank you, Gualter. Or give us a share. One tip
Maybe
that
a
came
little
out of
bit in the
this.
life. Yeah. If we are
The
helping you.
comments are huge for us because it allows other people to see what's going on. It allows us to go back and re-engage and bring the post back to life. So the more you comment, the more you share, the more value we're actually able to give to more people. So if you're finding value in this, please drop something in the comments. And if you can ask a question in the comments, I will be digging through those later on throughout the day. And
And
I'd love to get back to questions.
matter that something you're really struggling with or you would like answers on, we would love to answer on live, totally live for you in our podcast. You know that we do
And
it
as a
live.
reminder, do not
Yes.
DM us. Please drop it in the comments. The
The com-
DMs we just don't have time to get to, but the comments help other people and it gets the message out. So if you're getting value from us, thank you. Drop something in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all of the above, but mostly drop something in the comments. Really important to me and Vinny. So we can
yes.
continue moving on and forward with you. We've got this weekend, I'll go a little deeper into Wealth Principle 32, which is the point is not to work, it's to generate income, Saturday at 10 EST. That's 7 PST. So
Mhm.
super early morning on the West Coast. Vinney Chopra, if you could give somebody a piece of encouragement as they're a high net worth earner, they're house rich, cash poor, maybe they're business rich, cash poor, they've got assets, they're trying to wrap their head around how do I get rid of these things? It's going to take me forever. I didn't build my business right. My assets need work to sell before I can finally get to passive income. What would you say to somebody who still doesn't even believe it's possible, that thinks that they're 20 units they're owning that has 100, let's call it $1 million in equity, or they're two family in Boston has $1 million in equity, and they're afraid to let go of that, but really they would rather have $1 million earning, like you said, 17% IRR or 13% IRR. What is the word of advice or encouragement? Not financial advice, but just the word of encouragement.
I would say that it's me. You just talked to me actually, who I was many years back, with making very little with the W-2 job. And I knew that I have to make better earnings and better money and so on. And that's when you just sit down with yourself and you look at, see, the thing is just like Tony Robbins says, the state of mind, the mindset. 90% is all over here, mindset. 10% is knowing, training, this, that, implementation. But if the mind is not right, if you're not thinking in the state of mind, I say like that. That's what Tony Robbins does, right? He says, whatever happened before this clap, just say, I'm not going to live that life anymore. If you want to really grow personally, professionally, business wise, you got to clap and say, whatever happened second before, I can't change it. I cannot change it. Nobody can change it. But from this clap forward on this side, we can change it. And that's what you and I talk about. I always have that over here. This is the future. This is the future right here. This is the past. And this is the present right here, brother. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got to keep in mind we can only change the future if we act right now, and this is going to become past every second, every minute. We really don't take care of our life, our health, our wealth, or whatever we want to accomplish. The time is passing by. This time is not going to stop. And then time is going to go away. But we got to not worry about what's going to happen in the future, but worry about what's happening right now. If we could change our activity for today, what will be three things that can take you to a next level? And Rome was not built in a day. I always say that Rome was never, never, never. I mean, look at all these places. Egypt, right? We went to Egypt 4,500 years back, these mimes and all these things. But the thing is, you could build your future starting today. You can build a different future starting today, but you got to make, a commitment. It's the commitment, it's the perseverance, it's the plan. You got to have a plan. Don't fail to plan. People plan to fail. That's what it is.
Yeah, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. This is to me the crux of everything that I do. The point was not to work, it's to generate income. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I needed actually capital. And I just,
Yeah,
instead of saying I don't have capital, I said, how do I get capital? And I found that building business or buying real estate with a discount, the hardest part of the equation was selling. But when I
yeah,
learned how to sell my assets, it gave me freedom to jump into I have no more work, but I have passive income. And it's other people's time now working for me, other people's efforts, other people's attention. And I got my attention back. I got to do what I want to do in my time. So if you're saying I want more time back, or which we're really saying is I want to be able to focus on things I care about instead of all this work, you can
yes.
either drop a comment below. Yeah, drop something in the comments. Let us know if this resonates with you. Cheers to your success
And reach
when you have a
out to
choice.
us. To us. We can do a personal strategy call, quick call to see if we could put you in the growth mindset. And, it's so important that you are able to have the right people around you because you are the sum total of five people. And the books, five books you read, and then five podcasts you listen to. I added podcasts now also, and five YouTube videos you watch. Miracle Morning in the morning. Are you passionate about what you want to do with your life?
And
It
let me
just
level
got,
that up because Vinny, I've been doing some research on this. One is your spouse, one is you, and the other
Mhm.
three you get a choice on. But your spouse is going to be your biggest person in your mind. Your subconscious mind is going to be one of the biggest people you're working
Yes,
with all the time. You really
yes,
only get to have, three really important books that you're reading, or three really important podcasts, or communities you're a part of, or mentors that you have,
yeah,
staff. I mean, some of your partners are going to be in those three. So you choose those three people really, really well, and then work on your relationship with yourself and you work on your relationship with your spouse because those are non-negotiables. But Vin, you got to go. I love you, brother.
exactly, exactly. And you know what? The thing is, a lot of people tell, they say, Vinny, my spouse is not really on the same boat. I say, whose fault is that? Whose fault is it? I'm telling you, if you don't bring your life partner, because the goals should be together. I mean, I remember I went to seminars, Lu Tai seminar. They would give us a goal sheet, and the spouse filled out her goals, Kanchan, and I filled out mine. And then we got together and we looked at what's on each person's mind and find the happy medium. Because once we are together, it's mind blowing what can happen. Literally, literally. I mean, I find my students who are, like doing business together with the spouses and all that. Sometimes it's hard, but guess what? We can have line of, control within the business where somebody looks at this side and somebody, that's how we are, boutique company, small company. My wife and I ran this company. Now my daughter and I run the company, you know. The thing is, you got to really simplify. Simplify life, simplify systems, simplify everything.
We got to
And
talk
it's
about that next week, Vinny. How you got your daughter involved in the company? I think that's a thing I talk about or hear the concern a lot from a lot of operators, especially now that I have my son.
yes.
I talk about it, but they're like, well, my kids want nothing to do with it. So I think a lot of people would get a lot of value just finding out how that started and how that became. I know we got to jump now, but
Yeah,
uh,
I
yeah,
would
thank you.
say that you got to really sit down, your siblings, right? And they see you, by the way. When you're really working hard and everything, you're grinding, what they have in their mind is, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm telling you, because they are the younger people, the millennials, my kids are in the 30s now, right? So, when they grew up, they saw Vinney Chopra grinding and working hard and getting up early and, all those things I used to do and travels and all that, right? So that's what puts in their mind, I don't want to work that hard like dad is doing or mom is doing. But you got to sit down with them to teach the entrepreneurship and the value of money. Those two things will change their life forever.
Here's to your
Those
success when you have a choice. I always work with the best. Love you, brother. Thank you for
great.
that.
See you next Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. See you there.
Cheers.